welcome back to Loved Film. Thanks again for tuning in to the show. We're a relatively small page and a relatively small YouTube channel, so the fact that you're coming back every week and hearing me talk to people in movies and TV and video games, whether it be GTA, Red Dead Redemption, or today, James Madio, who has been in many things. James Madio is a very famous face. We might have first saw him in Hook in 1991 across from Robin Williams, which of course is one of the best iterations of Peter Pan to ever exist. James Madio was one of the Lost Boys, and then from there formed a very cool career where he worked with people like Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg in the critically acclaimed TV show Band of Brothers, which kind of spun off from Saving Private Ryan. So that show alone, I believe he was in 9 episodes out of the 10, that really showed him off as an actor and propelled him into the stardom he's in now. James is in newer things too. He was also in The Penguin last year, or this year I believe The Penguin came out. He was in the new sort of The Batman verse show, The Penguin, with Colin Farrell, where he really went into that sort of Godfather-y type of henchman role, which was really cool. So I can't wait to talk to James Madio about, well, everything. I mean, the guy was even in Shark Tale, believe it or not. You know, that movie with Martin Scorsese, Will Smith, Jack Black. I mean, to call him interesting is an understatement. So without further ado, let's get into the interview. Hey, James Madio, thank you so much for coming on to Love the Film. I mean, I know your face for years in a million different things. I mean, as a kid, Hook was one of my favorite movies of all time. I had it on VHS. Like, even now, I recognize you as one of the Lost Boys. Like, you look, it's the same face, you know. I mean, it's just one of these films that, although 1991, it is absolutely timeless. People will continue to find this movie. Kids are still obsessed with it. I mean, Robin Williams as the star was just one of those movies that I don't think you'll ever see again. You know, it just was one when magic happens, you know. Now, of course, you played one of the Lost Boys in that movie, and I'm sure you've been asked about this 1,000 times, but if you humor me, what was that like as a kid being in, you know, Peter Pan with Robin Williams?
Yeah, well, let me take you back to 1990, 1991. You know, I'm from the Bronx, New York, so I very much grew up in sort of concrete environment. You had your parks, you know, you had your street hustle and all that. And to kind of go and pick up and move who you are and what you know, what you're accustomed to California and Hollywood, and join a set where they built Neverland and they built a pirate ship, and you know, you're in water, there's planks you got to walk up, there's pipe down, there's pirates. I mean, it's amazing. There's swings, there's toys, there's basketball courts, there's skateboard parks, and you know, it's a kid's dream. But I would say, looking back at it now and how time has moved quickly, as they say, it was probably one of the greatest things that have ever happened to me in my life. The trajectory of me, my career, where I was going, where I could have been, and now what I'm aiming to be, right? You know, you get a chance to sort of leave the den, how you grew up, and you take this certain skill set that made you who you are, and now you place it into some sort of other artistic, creative outlet, and that was acting. So I just found the sets fascinating, the process fascinating, you know, how the actors prepared, how it all came together, everybody's department, why they were there, what they did. You know, you become friends, you become a fly in the wall. I was a sponge. I enjoyed hanging out on set. I enjoyed talking to everybody, no matter who they were. So for me, it was a dream come true and an incredible introductory into, you know, acting careers, to work with all those, you know, incredible people: Julie Roberts, Bob Hoskins, Steven Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy, Frank Marshall. I mean, I go down the hill: Hoffman, Spielberg, you know, Dante Bosco, all the Lost Boys. Everybody just was,
Yeah.
you know, an amazing opportunity. And without that opportunity, I don't think I'd be who I am today.
Of course, and I mean, as I said, it's like it's such a legendary movie. I mean, baptism by fire, you could say, in terms of the industry with
Right.
those names. It's like, whoa, even hearing them now, it's crazy. You forget that
Well, I
many
was so
people
young,
had
I
it
didn't
to
know what
handle
was
you.
going on. And I think that was the
Yeah,
beauty, right? I didn't know who anybody was. I knew, you know, that Spielberg made E.T. I knew Robin
yeah.
Williams was Popeye. That was it. I didn't know, Pretty Woman. I didn't know, Kramer versus Kramer. Maybe I knew Tootsie, but I wasn't watching those movies at 12, 13. I knew E.T., this guy made E.T., and I knew that my favorite movie in the world was Popeye at that time. And I was going to be working with Popeye, who is now going to be Peter Pan and everything
Yeah.
else in the future.
For everyone that doesn't know, I mean, he's such a beloved, famous actor, Robin Williams, one of the best, if not the best, comic of all time. As a kid, I mean, do you remember what he was like? I mean, was he making you guys laugh?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Was he making us laugh? Obviously, he was making us laugh. I say this a lot, and you'll find this said on a few interviews of mine regarding Robin and the relationship that we had, or me specifically, I felt I had with him. Um, he was that great, fun, crazy uncle that you just wanted to hang out and play with him and be around. I mean, you saw the way he treated people on set, which was incredible. And then you saw the way that he worked with 15, 20 kids who on the 13, 14 years old that he's trying to corral and earn our trust, earn our respect. And so at the same time, he was a teacher, he was a mentor, he was the uncle, he was a father figure. I mean, he was just an amazing person to be around. And at the same time, he gained our trust in a way where it came to a point where he was able to kind of go, okay, guys, now I need a second, quiet. We talked about this. Now I'm gonna do my thing. And you're like, yeah, yeah, sure, sure. So he was really clever how he had us. But we all adored him. We all looked up to him in every capacity. I mean, he was Peter Pan. And more so just watching the trajectory of his character and how he was is all really cool to us as well. You don't shoot things in sync, obviously, but for the
Mm.
most part, I really enjoy the process of watching him become Banner to Peter Pan, like a fly could fight, I can crow now. And that
Yeah,
was so
yeah.
cool to me as a kid, kind of go, now he's Peter Pan, and we helped him become Peter Pan. You get so entrenched in it. So really, really cool experience for me.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I mean, what an acting sponge to, absorb from.
Yeah, right.
That's fascinating to hear, genuinely. I mean, my last question on Hook, I just have to ask this, just for the kid version of me. I've always wanted to know this, and you're somebody who would know this. The food in the scene with the food fight, was that edible? Like, what was that stuff? The colorful goo that you guys were throwing, like, what was it?
The food fight scene, yeah, the famous food fight. If I remember it correctly, we knew it was coming. We were prepared for it. The set got fully prepared for it. The table was filled with all this beautiful heated food, with sprayed and it was lacquered with shiny stuff to make it look amazing. That was sort of a different shot. So that was set up in the sense of to look like the beauty shot, the hero shot of the table. And then obviously it turned into like nothing where we had to fake it. But for the actual food fight, it was when what we were throwing was all sort of pudding and whipped cream of all different colors. So you were just allowed to wing that at any time, anybody you wanted to, whether you had a beef with somebody or you didn't, or you were looking to get back at somebody, or you just wanted to have some fun. The first take, we just went eight. They covered up the entire set with all drapery, and the cameras were covered except the lens, and all the crew was covered. And I'm sure everybody was looking forward to this. And also, there's like six, seven cameras, maybe less. I'm probably exaggerating with that. And they say action, and of course, it's just we're all going nuts. And who's putting us face? And Steven would pick off certain specialty shots, like, oh, don't ask, a pockets, So I think he wanted to get clarification who the character was and their name, sort of reintroducing them on singles. He would pop in for that, but we had to do a take two, and a take two meant that I don't know why we had to do a take two. Maybe they didn't get enough, but we all went back to base camp, took showers, had to get all new wardrobe, all new hair and makeup, and redo everything while they reset up. We got reset as actors and artists and came back all fully costumed. So we got two takes, and I think it took the whole day just for that one scene.
Oh my God, I never would have guessed that you guys did a food fight and then had to go all the way back to square one.
Right?
That's
Yeah, yeah. I
amazing.
remember having to go back and change and do it. So that was pretty cool.
That's amazing, James. It's honestly amazing. Now, I mean, Hook was just when like starting off as an actor. I mean, as an actor, you've been in so many projects, some amazing stuff that I've all seen as well. I mean, while we're still in the '90s, I mean, you're with Leonardo DiCaprio in the Basketball Diaries. I mean, do you have any memories from that experience where you're like, oh, wow, that was a good experience?
Yeah, Jamie, that's when things sort of changed, and when you started to look at this, am I going to be able to do this as a career, and what does it take? You're no longer a kid,
Yeah.
you're 18, 19, 20, and you're seeing your other friends go into trades and do other things, you go to college, and what are you going to do? Sports sort of outgrew me. I had this career that was okay. I started young in Hook and then Hero, playing Dustin's son. I had some television appearances, and then I had to reinvent myself as a young, like a teenager or a late teenager. And that was when you had to take it seriously. And a very serious film came in, an independent film with DiCaprio attached to it. He was coming off of the Titanic, so he was pretty hot. During filming of that, I believe he was nominated, so that changed the filming of everything. But that's when he took it seriously. And when I remember when I got that role, and Scott Calvert, the late Scott Calvert, he was a director, a great, great guy. Me, him, Marky, um, and Leo, we went to a few places to study characters and drug addicts and people affected by drugs and heroin in the inner city streets in New York, and watching them and trying to get some information out of them and do the due diligence on these characters. That's when I realized that the work is real. And I was watching Leo prepare. Leo was already seasoned. He's done some stuff. And I was watching him prepare early on in production and how he would get himself into a world of being high and just kind of, and I was like, wow, man, this kid's in it. He's doing it. And, and Marky as well fell into it. It was one of his first projects. And, so I think we all, to some degree, challenged each other and made sure that we, wanted to do justice by this project, and we did, and we all became great friends. But Basketball Diaries was a turning point for me is when I decided to do this for a living, not a hobby, and take it seriously, and realize that I can do this, and I got a career, and I'm lucky of how I came into this industry, and I should take advantage of that.
If you're a fan of Love a Film and you're watching us here on YouTube, please subscribe. I mean, it would really help us. I mean, if you like our stuff, we post reels all the time on Instagram, on TikTok, and please leave a review. Reviews do great for us. Helps us make more of these videos on Apple Podcast reviews. That's where the magic happens. So if you have time and want to give your thoughts, it doesn't have to be positive too. If you don't like what I'm doing, you can write that down. You can get angry. Yeah, leave a review. You can help us directly by signing up to our Patreon. The links are in the bio. I mean, hey, a little goes a long way. So if you want to do that, I really appreciate it. It's fascinating just even doing research on like how your career changed and like how the amazing shows and movies you were in, like Band of Brothers even in 2001. I mean, that is just, people say it's like the most well-respected telling of this time in history. Like it's so powerful for no matter what country in the world you are from. It's such a well-made thing, and I mean, you have Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks making this show. It's just crazy to me. Even like I've seen it, and just seeing the level of detail in it and the heartbreak in it. I mean, how did that role come about for you? I mean, was that, I'd imagine that was some crazy experience.
Yeah, I mean, the entire experience, as you know, it's no secret. The
Yeah.
auditions were grueling. Meg Lieberman casted it, uh, along with Susan Smith and Angela Terry and so many others in LA, Cami Patton. I mean, they were just all terrific in finding the right guys for the job and bringing us and putting us in front of Tony Toe, Steven Spielberg, and Tom Hanks, and going, these are the guys that we picked out. It's 100 guys, and how you mesh these guys together. We think this is easy company. And then the last audition was sort of this like chemistry audition where they had 30, 40 of us, and they would put us all together in a room, make us improvise. Stephen held the camera, um, and we did what we can do. But I think for the most part, they were looking for actors with no false moments, who are very real. and understanding and who looked at era and knew that they had to throw their egos out the window for this role and put it to the side for to prepare for these men and portray these men. And not just them men. I mean, you're telling a story about a lot of veterans in all different conflicts. You know, you are celebrating the American soldier,
Yeah.
true heroes that fell from the skies and others, and how it was in other films as well. So we're not just the only film. Uh, but we felt a great honor to play these guys. And, you know, I say it a lot. We didn't want to mess this up. We did not want to mess this up. Tom and Stephen gave these wonderful speeches right before production. They put us through a boot camp for us to get to know each other, an actors boot camp. But it was an incredible way for us to know how to get through this side by side and together, and how we're going to need each other and lean on each other. And what these guys went through, and the camaraderie and the bravery and the friendships and everything that these guys have been through, and all the different conflicts. And so, one of those projects. And as we go through this, it's so funny because you mentioned in Hook, you
Yeah.
mentioned Basketball Diaries, and you mentioned in Band of Brothers, and you know the trajectory of your career when you sit back and you reevaluate it, like we're doing right now. As someone who wants to know a little bit about more about your journey and how you got into it and where you are and what's next, you know, it's always refreshing to talk about it because you're reminded, because it can beat you down. The industry can beat you down, but you're
Yeah.
reminded of these beautiful, wonderful things that have happened that you've been blessed with in your career, these roles that change lives. Hook has changed lives. Basketball Diaries, if it stopped one or two people from doing drugs, I did my job. Band of Brothers brought light on the American soldier and more, all the allies and this elite group of men. And not only them, I mean, just a lot of, like I say, a lot of people did a lot of wonderful things during World War II. They just happened to tell Easy Company's story, but there's a lot of acts of bravery throughout the conflict. And we were blessed to get help and assist with their story told. But it's always, you know, you look at things and you say the feather in the hat. I would say Band of Brothers is the one that you kind of go,
Yeah.
that's the project of a lifetime. And it still is the job that keeps on giving. And I love getting stopped by soldiers and being thanked. Just crazy for them to thank me, right?
Yeah.
I'm like you, but they'll thank you because it helped them get through a day, or it helped them when they were in the field watching it on a little screen, or some reason why they joined, or their parents or grandparents from World War II, and it brought light to that. So, you know, the educational element of it all, and how it continues to grow, right?
Yeah.
And have this mystique of the best miniseries of all time. You know,
It
arguably,
is.
we could put
It
it
is. I
wherever
mean,
you
it
want to
is
put
the
it.
best.
Put it with the Bible. You could put it with Roots. You got Band of Brothers. You know, we're talking about miniseries, not the series when people kind of go The Wire, you know, the Walking Dead or Sopranos, that kind of stuff. You know, this
It
was a
almost
mini.
makes it more special, doesn't it? That it is a mini series, that it was this one off, and you know, as you said, it's this thing that keeps giving the people, like, of course, with the soldiers, it's, I can't imagine what it feels to hear something like that, but it also helps people who maybe aren't. A lot of people don't know about things in history that are the most important things in history when they should know, you know, just for whatever reason. Maybe they left school, maybe they just didn't pay attention in class. It's great to have something like Band of Brothers where you can actually see this history brought to life, and that's because of your guys' performances. I mean, you're an incredible actor, and I mean, thanks for that performance in that, and everything you do. It was honestly a pleasure to watch. I mean, do you remember going onto the set? As in, from what I've heard, Band of Brothers is like, the set was the most authentic 1940s set you could see. I mean, did it feel, as an actor going onto the set, there's not much to imagine here? Like, you don't have to pretend you're back in time?
Yeah, yeah, there was a lot of that. Obviously, as an actor, there's interiors and exteriors. So the minute you have your exteriors on and your clothes on, you feel like you're in that mind frame. You feel like you're in that era. And then you get to a set and it's all decorated and art department and the smoke and the bomb, everything, blown out buildings. And you get to that. And then, yeah, that all helps and assist in the authenticity and what you need as an actor to sort of get to a certain place, you know. But it was so different because you weren't, it's not glamour shots. You don't have guys tweezing their eyebrows and getting haircuts and having clean shaven beards, it just wasn't that era. And the hairstyles, it just was different. The physical, the build of guys, they were not these big brawny stocky soldiers, these military guys that you see today. They were 18, 19-year-old kids, and they were eating Hershey bars and drinking water and drinking booze and beer. So they're not in the greatest of shape in a sense, in hygiene as well. But so many elements and so many pieces of production and the people involved in that helped assist in getting you there. They were the top of the top, and you realized why the project was such a success is because the attention to detail and
Yeah.
everybody doing their job at the peak in every single department, whether it is sound, whether it's music, whether it's camera, whether it's art department, whether it's special effects, whether it's hair, makeup, wardrobe, cinematography. Everybody is doing their job at the highest level because of what the project entails and who we were portraying. So there was a lot at stake, and when everybody delivers, it's lightning in a bottle, and that's what we hit, and that was the beauty of Banner Brothers, and still is the beauty of it.
It is, and I genuinely mean it when I say it is the best miniseries of all time. And if anyone hasn't seen it, do watch Band of Brothers. It's incredible. So thanks so much for your performance. Now, of course, we're going into a little bit more of modern time as well. Forgive me if I'm skipping many roles in between, but most recently, what I did see you in was the Featherweight last year, where you're a
Yes.
boxer as well. That's just again like just such a different role altogether. I mean, what was that like? I mean, did you have to change your body in any way? Was there pressure? I mean, what was it like?
It was a passion project of mine that I was trying to get made for quite some time. My partner on it, Steve Loft, he wrote the script. There was many renditions of it. There was high budget, low budget, medium budget. I was playing 18, I was playing 50, like whatever. And we just had so many big dreams and aspirations. How are you going to get this made? Finally, we fell upon this sort of indie sort of way of filming it in a found footage approach, sort of a docudrama. And via Steve James, the great documentarian, he recommended Robert Kolodny, who was this masterful director, the cinephile, who's just terrific at what he does. And he's a documentarian as well. And he beautifully executed this film along with everybody else involved, and as far as cast and crew. But it's on the great featherweight Willie Pep, who's relatively unknown in table talk, but in the boxing world, he's one of the best, and owning all these records. Um, the most wins in boxing history, 200 and I think 29. The most rounds, the youngest featherweight, broke his back in a plane crash when he was champion, came back and won another 100 fights. Like, he just unreal. He had six wives, owed money to the mob. Just his backstory was incredible. So, we were trying to get it made for some time, and we finally got it made. Went to Venice, uh, premiered at Venice. We had a nice standing ovation. I think that was so worthy of everybody involved. Tribeca released it. So Tribeca Films released it with Giant Pictures, and it's on Amazon. It's on Fandango, Apple TV. It's got incredible reviews, and it's produced by Appy and Way. So we're thrilled. It's out there. Go see it. And I'm very proud of that film. But the physicality of it is, just getting back to what you were saying, is I was for a long time trying to get this made. So mentally, I became Willie. That was not too difficult. East Coast guy, small in stature, fighting on the streets, Italian American, hard, a little bit of a hard upbringing. So that I fell into. And then
Yeah.
the period piece, I could do period well. I could lean into period as well if I let myself go and go into it, wardrobe, everything. The physicality, but the fighting was difficult because everybody thinks that they could train like a boxer or portray a boxer. And maybe if James Madio wanted to portray how James Madio boxes, that's easy to do. Because how would James Madio fight?
Okay.
I'm portraying the great Willie Pep, who's a
Yeah.
defensive master genius and rarely ever got hit, had amazing footwork in the ring. What they say, he was like a Da Vinci, the way he would paint the canvas. It was just incredible how he moved and weaved. And I think a lot of modern fighters look at his footwork now and his defensive prowess that he would master in the ring. Um, that was the difficult part, is trying to emulate someone, the same way like Will Smith's got to do Ali, Jamie
Yeah.
Foxx doing Mike Tyson. We know these fighters. Mark Wahlberg trying to do Mickey Ward. We know their styles. That's more difficult than kind of going, not taking anything away from Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal can be his own fighter. Jake Gyllenhaal is playing a character who's unknown. So he could come in with his own style, whether he wants. He can make when you're doing the style. It's difficult. I found that a little difficult trying to emulate his specific style when you want to do something like this and it's not him. I found that hard. And then I wish I would have sparred more. But physically, I was in shape. I could handle the long days of fighting, training, push-ups, pull-ups, skipping rope, speed bag. There was a long time leading up for me to do that road work to prepare mentally on set to be, physically able. So, but yeah, great achievement of mine. I'm just so thrilled that we got it done for the cast and crew and everybody involved, and for Willie Pep and his family, and the
Yeah.
boxing world. I think it's important to get his story out. Not many people can play him. 5'4", 125, 130, Italian American. He's so difficult to do that. I do know there was a story going around that Pacino tried to play him in the 70s.
For real?
Uh, yeah, and then Pacino brought his agent. Willie Pep brought a gangster to try and broker the deal and they fell apart. So there's a
Oh my
story.
God.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
some
right.
epic
Isn't that cool?
history.
Yeah.
I never thought about that as in, it makes sense. I mean, I love the Rocky movies, but Rocky is not Rocky Balboa is a fictional character, Sly wasn't trying to emulate a different boxer's fighting. That's really interesting. It's almost like playing Elvis, you have to
Yeah,
perform
yeah.
like
I
he
mean, to
did,
some degree, and not trying to do an imitation, right? Because people know how Ali fought. His style is very famous. Willie Pep style is very famous. Mickey Ward style is very famous. Tyson, of course, is very famous. So
Yeah.
not only do you have to be the person, you have to emulate a style that may be unnatural to you. And Willie Pep style is unnatural to anybody. If I could do what Willie Pep did or does, and I was able to do it, I'd quit and start fighting. I'd quit
Yeah.
acting at 40 something and start fighting. The guy was so special, in the ring. He was just saying you couldn't hit him. Even Bert Sugar would say you couldn't hit him with a handful of rice in the ass. That's what he would say. That's how fast he was.
It's fascinating, and again, for anyone who hasn't seen it, do check out the Featherway. I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, again, what something I saw you in recently too, which I do want to touch on because I understand I don't have you all day, James. I could talk to you forever, man. This is like so
Okay,
interesting, genuinely. But you were in the Penguin as well, which
yes,
is a very very popular series. I mean, it
yes,
really blew up. I mean, this year with in Matt Reeves's The Batman universe with Colin Farrell. I mean, I'm a big DC fan too, particularly Batman. I mean, are you a fan of Batman before
I
coming
am.
in?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so this must have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, it's a dream come true. Just be involved in the universe and kind of go, hey, I'm involved in it. To be an actual character, Milo Scrappa is actually out there. He's in the comic books. Not much, but he's out there. He's an actual
Yeah,
guy. Like, oh my God, I'm a dude. Um, but to just show up on that set and see, oh God, man, it's hard to explain because it was so masterful to see, Lauren LaFranc and Craig Zobel work together alongside Kristen Melody and Colin. I mean, the powerhouse of that and watching them work together just to be a fly in the wall and see that process and see Colin's process, which was amazing. What a true number one on a call sheet. And Kristen's performance every day was just, you did not want to miss. It was just must watch filmmaking. Even if you were not in the scene, you just wanted to be in Video Village and watch these two go at it because it was, you knew, like I'm doing this a very, very, very long time. I've done, shitty commercials. I've done beautiful indies. I've done shitty big budgets and great big budgets. I've done everything. You know when things are going well and performances are working and writers are working together with directors and producers and the set is running as smoothly as it can. That was a big production. I don't know what goes on in the rear. I'm sure some things did, and it was, pressure cooker at times. But it's the producer's job to keep that interference away from you and to focus on your character and the job. And they did a wonderful job at that as well. But just so proud of that project, and the performances in there just blow me away. And, I'm looking forward to what happens with them. I know the project has just been nominated for a crazy amount of awards. So
yeah,
I'm hoping a clean sweep comes for them because I know and I've seen firsthand the work that everybody put on and put in to that project, and each one of them deserves this recognition.
Big time. I mean, if there is ever anything that deserves recognition, it's that show. I mean, Colin as well. I mean, I'm curious to anyone who worked in that show, even in a scene with him or seen him on set. Did you forget that it was Colin Farrell when he was being Oswald? I mean, 'cause that
Yeah,
makeup is
absolutely. You
the
forget.
best I've ever
Right.
seen
And
in
you,
anywhere.
there's no way that you cannot forget. I mean, it's you kind of you get entrenched in what he's bringing and what he's doing, and you try and stay focused and committed because he's working so fucking hard and he's putting this incredible performance. So you don't want to be the one that messes up anything. Um, and watching him just motivated me, and it motivates everyone down below. It rolls downhill. So watching him put that work in really makes everybody level up. I'll tell you this. An actor, one thing, right? He's an incredible actor, and what he's done and what he's put the performances that he's done and he's enlightened us with and thrilled us with. He's a better person, if that's even possible. He's an incredible individual, a very giving, caring, understanding person. In the short time that I got to know him, I really felt man to man, that's a guy I can hang out with and I could learn a lot from. So, just truly, truly a remarkable human being on set and off set.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you could tell straight away just from you guys working together and everyone in that project. Just how you guys brought your A game. And again, James, I love everything you've done, man. It's genuinely so interesting talking to you. And I understand, as I said, I don't have you all day. I'd like to end just on a little bit of advice for the actors out there, as you
Mhm.
know better than me. It's sometimes you're the king of the world in
Yeah.
this profession, and other times it's not going so well. It's full of rejection and stuff. For people who want to do what you do, I mean,
Right.
what would you tell them?
Well, I think you couldn't have said any better. What you said is, first off, the rejection element of it. You got to understand that there is a shield that you got to build, a rejection shield. And you've got to build that and build off of it. And that should make you stronger. If that is weakening you, it may not be for you. That is supposed to, the rejection is supposed to make you stronger. You got to want to do this. You heard me say it earlier. You got to want to do this for a living and not a hobby is the second thing. And one of the main things that I tell people is it's almost impossible at this time and the way the film industry has changed and what is changing and the accessibility and how to market yourself. It's almost impossible, I think, not to do this without a mentor. It's very critical to have a mentor, someone that you could trust, someone that you could talk to, someone that could talk to you truthful and tell you what they think, what they know. And also at the same point, make sure that there's other people involved in your career that you're surrounded by that lift you up, that don't bring you down. It already can hurt. And it's already a lot of failure. All right. So you have to surround yourself with people that lift you and bring you correct and make you want to be better. Hence what I said earlier about Colin. Hence what I said about Leo and Marky. And I'm not just saying that because they're famous names. There's a reason they're all where they are right now. It's because they surround themselves with people that lift them up and they work harder and they want to get better. It's part of it. Is there luck involved in other ways? I'm sure there is, but let the luck happen. You only control what you can control. And that's being present, getting better, reinventing yourself, surrounding your people that love this and love what they do, and they raise you up, and then you can really enjoy and have a wonderful, fruitful career, as chaotic as it may be, or it may come and go, and you got to reinvent stuff. But hey, man, that's the beauty of it. I wouldn't want to do any other thing. I don't know any other
Yeah.
thing, and I'm incredibly passionate about what I do and what the future brings. So.
You're a badass, James Madio. You really are. I mean, this was so interesting for me. As an outsider, I'm not an actor. It's just it genuinely is a treat to talk to you about this stuff, and from an honest perspective, like see how your career has changed over the years and what you think about the state of things and how to be an actor. It was honestly a treat. So thanks so much for coming on to Love It Film, James. It was a pleasure.
I appreciate that, brother. Anytime, man. I wish you the best with, Love It Film, and your questions were great and seemed like a fine young man. Maybe we'll share a pint one day.
Absolutely. Sounds great. Do you like Guinness?
I do like Guinness. I don't drink anymore, but I do like Guinness. My mother is from Kildare. So I got a good amount of Irish. My mother's grandmother's from Kildare. So I'm like 25% Irish.
That's pretty Irish. I mean, Kildare is only 30 minutes from Dublin, which is the capital city. That's so
Right.
cool, man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks so much again. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you enjoy yourself, man. You have a great rest of your day. Anything else you need, just let me know. Hit me up. You got my email.
Thanks, James. Appreciate your time. It was genuine. It was great.
All right, brother. Much respect. Thank you.
You too. You too. Thanks.
Okay, guys, so that was James Madio. James was a fantastic guest. What did you think of him?
James Madio, thank you for the microphone. We're going for a handheld type of device this week, so yeah, it's our new thing. But anyway, enough tech. James Madio was a great guest. He was super interesting guy. I mean, it's not a normal upbringing, is it? I mean, you're grown up. You're starring in a movie with Robin Williams as one of the Lost Boys, as Peter Pan. As a little kid, a Peter Pan movie where there's like food everywhere and food fights. It's, you know, any kid's dream. So to take that guy from that movie, that kid, I mean, to grow up to be the man he is now and become a professional actor and be in all these movies is, you know, I found James just like a really inspiring guy because he didn't let himself be, typecast. He didn't let himself be put into one corner. He said, okay, I want to be an actor. And he was in that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio in the 90s when he was becoming a young man. I think Mark Wahlberg was in that too, you know, and then and that was all about addiction. That was heavy stuff. And then after that, he was in Band of Brothers in the 2000s, which was like, what if... For me, I was only a kid when that came out, but I since heard about it and seen it and stuff, and that's one of the... I think it is called the best miniseries of all time. Like, it's widely known. If you watch the interview there, hopefully you didn't just skip to here. That wouldn't make any sense. But, you know, directed by Steven Spielberg, produced by Tom Hanks after Saving Private Ryan, actually. It was after that movie, they were inspired to make Band of Brothers. So to have somebody who worked in that, and then to everything he's done since, he was in The Penguin, The Featherway, Willie Pep. Yeah, he was just an inspiring guy. So thanks, James Madio, for coming on. Yeah. What do you want to talk about, Chris?
Yeah. So just on like another note on James, like, you know, the guy has such a range. Like you said, he never got himself typecasted. I really think I could see him in another leading man type of role. I completely forgot he was in The Penguin as well, of course. Was he a part of the Falcone?
He was, yeah. He had a significant role in the episodes.
Of course, though, look, you know, the range of people he's worked with, like you said, Steven Spielberg, Robin Williams, you know, DiCaprio, you know, it's just incredible, you know, how he has kind of hopped around to those, like, you know, significant figures, you know, on all these different projects. Of course, my favorite being Robin Williams. They've recently watched Mrs. Doubtfire first. I always do it like once or twice a year, and beautiful film. But yeah, like he had such cool insight into what he was like, particularly with the kids, the Lost Boys. You know, I couldn't imagine what that must have been like, and obviously he's done so much since then. But for me, Hook, that's probably why I'm like, oh, that's the film I watched a lot as a growing up. And when you talk about the food fight as well, like I actually seen this thread recently about people talk about food fights in movies, how it actually apparently never happens in real life in the USA. But that was fascinating. We talked about how they had to do that whole food fight twice, and they had to, you know, change costumes and everything. That is just, you know, such a funny little story there. So yeah, no, he's a fascinating dude. And then you know, like it's probably an immense achievement for him to be on Band of Brothers. You know, beloved by a lot of people, a lot of veterans as well, because it's, you know, it's
super well respected.
Yeah. But James, he has just had a steady thing, and I just hope he blows up even more. But yeah, I guess that brings us on to the movie news of the week. Do you want to take it away, Jamie?
Yeah, movie news. So first thing I noticed with the news was that sequel to 28 Years Later with Ralph Fiennes. Was it called The Bone Temple?
Yeah,
The Bone Temple, which I'm imagining is about his character and, well, the Bone Temple. Now, if you haven't seen that sequel to 28 Days Later, that is one of my favorite movies of 2025. And this year was one hell of a year for movies. I mean, no matter what type of thing you're in it, there was something for everybody. If you're a superhero fan, you had Superman, Fantastic Four. If you're into horror, you had 28 Years Later. And that movie just, it captivated me, man. Like, I did not expect it to be as good as it was. Admittedly, my expectations, low, very low. Because, I mean, it's a sequel. Danny Boyle is great, but, you know, bringing things back this many years later, literal 20 years, you'd imagine it's not going to have the same magic, or maybe it's too nostalgia bait, you know, like it's just doing a lot of the same beats, but it wasn't like that. It was such a good movie, man. It was cool. Like, I'm remembering the scenes where, you know, they're in the attic where you have Aaron Taylor Johnson and the young lad from the movie, and they're like, we got to stay up here. And I really felt like, man, I have to stay up there with them. If I go out, that's it. I'm dead. So I thought that was great. So anything to do with this new era of 28, you know, whatever, I'm down for it. And Ray Fiennes, scene stealer, when he showed up.
I just seen the trailer very briefly, you know, pop up on the old TikTok yesterday. But yeah, no, 100% agree. Scene stealer. I loved Aaron Taylor Johnson throughout the start of the movie. Then, of course, surprisingly, he actually, like, they kind of flipped the characters around. He's not actually the focus of the movie at all. And I was like, whoa. And I think we talked about this probably before. I'm doing a little review, but you know what? I'm actually happy it kind of flipped around to being the kid. I'm sorry, I forget his name. He ended up being the focus of the movie. And then, of course, the big supporting character was Ralph Fiennes' character. So, no, I'm really looking forward to it. I wonder, it's probably going to be just as gruesome as 28 Years Later. I remember hearing, I don't know if this is true or not, it was either test audiences or maybe the first screenings of the film. People were visually thrown up watching it because it was so gruesome. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably one of the most gruesome things I've seen recently. But yeah, 28 Years Later, I really liked. Yeah, I can't wait to see what they're doing next. I hope they don't go overboard with the sequels and stuff like that. But, you know, if they can keep the same quality up, I'd be happy about that. So I guess that brings us on to our next movie news of the week. There is a Sylvester Stallone biopic coming out. What is it titled? I Am Rocky, is it?
I Am Rocky, yeah. I mean, I think the main dude has been cast as Sly. I can't remember his name. Did you get his name up? Yeah. I mean, he looks like, you know, Rocky 1 Sylvester Stallone. I feel like a lot of people, when I think of Sly, they think of, you know,
got it there. So it's Anthony Lapido.
Looking at him there. I mean, a lot of people, when they think of Sly, they think of like 90s Sly, which was when he got surgery to fix basically his face in a way where when he was born, he had a nerve that was trapped, which I actually thought added to him, and it looked really cool as just like a character trait, you know. But, you know, people change these things, people get surgeries and they fix things. But that's what Sylvester had, and he got surgery and his face became a lot more balanced, you could say, you know. But the young Sylvester Stallone, he's more of a rugged guy. He's slurry type of, but in a charming way. It really added to him as an actor, and I feel like you need to capture that to do a biopic right. And after looking at that guy, not to say he has anything wrong with his face or anything like that, Jesus, but he captures that spirit of a young Sylvester Stallone. When a young Stallone, remember what Stallone is. Stallone is a man who wanted to get into the industry, so he got a piece of paper and he just wrote Rocky in like 6 days?
No, 3 days.
3 days. 3 days.
Yeah.
Rocky, you know, Apollo Creed, Paulie, Adrian, all these amazing, iconic characters, and, you know, running up the steps. It's 2025. People are still talking about Rocky. I just rewatched all of them. You rewatched them too, yeah?
Yeah.
And I mean, he deserves his flowers, man. Sylvester Stallone is, in my opinion, one of the best directors and actors of the entire 20th century. I mean, that man, the movies, all of the Rocky films are good, you know? Rocky 5, we actually put up a reel Chris made a couple of days ago, right?
Not our, of course, not our interview. It's from the Unwaxed podcast with Sly's daughters. He talks about the interview was actually in, I think it was coming out to promote his documentary Sly, which came out. He talks about how Rocky 5 was actually a film where he was embarrassed at the fact that the audience didn't really understand that the movie was supposed to be not Rocky winning for once, and it's actually supposed to be just a more kind of grounded version of life where, you know, it's obviously reflects his own life where you know, Rocky can't always be winning, and you know, he loses his money. He wants to gain some sort of respect or some sort of dignity back, and how he does that is through another man, through Tommy Gunn, who he mentors in the film. And you know, he wants to get that, but he has to do it through another man, and then of course that backfires, and he you know, he nearly loses his wife Adrian, his son. And yeah, it's really like I like yourself, I watched all of them just there recently, and I don't hate it. It's not my favorite. It's probably the least, of course, my least favorite out of all of them. But I understand what he was attempting to achieve with that, you know, where it was kind of reflecting his whole life. Because even after Rocky 5, it's actually like he was predicting the future. His career did take a little bit of a downturn, unfortunately.
Exactly the same. You know, like I'd be a Rocky 5 defender, by the way. I mean, yes, it has moments where it could be described as the low point for the saga. You know, there is 6 official Rocky movies before the Creed movies, so saga 6, isn't it? You know, Rocky 5, as you said, he went too real. You know, he really made it like, you know, this is what happens when a man really gets broken down. But yeah, Rocky Balboa, like you were talking about, that was the same thing that happened in real life. So Sylvester Stallone, he was the biggest actor of the 80s. Everything was Stallone. It was Schwarzenegger as well. But Stallone was before Arnold. You know, he was a movie star before Arnold was. So he was kind of on top of Arnold when it comes to who was the movie star, the action hero of the 80s. So he went from the very top, and he went fast down with like flops, you know, like he.
Like I was gonna say, just to add to that, like after Rocky 5, he had an era where I think it was for a few years when his daughters are growing up, and obviously he was raising his daughters. But he talks about this in the podcast, the episode he was in. He actually just, you know, didn't work for a few years, and then he tried getting back into the industry, and then he done Spy Kids 3 as the toy maker or whatever his name was, and you know, and then of course he wanted to prove to people, he wanted to basically to restore the respect of the Rocky franchise, so he made Rocky Balboa, and for the most part, you know, everyone loved it.
It's the best one, man.
Like,
look, it's better than Rocky 3. Rocky 3 is possibly one, but Rocky Balboa, that's the
like the only criticism for that movie is just the fight. I think or no, it was the antagonist. People weren't mad about the antagonist because he didn't have enough depth. But no, I'm curious if the movie, the biopic, is gonna just explore him making the movie, getting it done, or is it gonna go across? I'd be curious. It'd be cool if it goes across his career. But there is enough there for a whole movie, because you know, when he was making Rocky 1. I remember there's so many interviews you can look up on YouTube where he talks about how he was trying to get it made. He tries to sell the script, and he goes to producer, and they keep saying no, and then eventually, can't remember which one this was, but he got to a production company who said they'll make it, but they will only make it if Sly is not the main character. And Sly said no, and he didn't sell. And I think eventually, who was it that ended up going with Rocky? Not Lionsgate.
Oh, right. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, what? MGM, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously now he still regretted that years later, though, that decision, because he now doesn't own the rights to Rocky ever, and he wants to, you know.
I'll say as well, you know, like, I feel like that's not a good thing. I think Ryan Coogler coming in for like Creed 1 was great. Creed 2 I do not like. Creed 3 I do not like. I think Creed 2, isn't that basically just Rocky 3? It's the same movie, and then Rocky 3, you have Michael B. Jordan. He did a good job at directing, but you cannot have a character in the Rocky universe without Rocky. It didn't make any sense. It was like Rocky was in that film, was his mentor.
He wasn't even asked to come back, apparently.
It was like Mick to what was his name in Adonis Creed, and he's not even mentioned in the third movie. It was really bad. I did not like that movie.
Yeah, and I think Sly said he would definitely work with Michael B. Jordan again. It wouldn't be under probably what's his name, I'm gonna put it Winkler
sucking the blood out of the Rocky.
Yeah. So no, it's
Irwin Winkler, is it?
Irwin Winkler. Yeah, I butchered that. Yeah, so there's a lot of layers to this. So no, I'm like the biopic. I'm looking forward to it. It's probably going to be like an underdog, because look, it's funny. Rocky, of course, is the ultimate first underdog story in my book, and then, you know, the actual making of it, Sly was an underdog, you know, getting this made, and he wrote the script in 3 days. He closed the blinds at his house. He, you know, didn't literally no outside contact with the human world there. But yeah, no, I think I'm looking forward to it, and I think we're overrunning now with our movie news. So,
yeah, I think so.
If there's anything else you want to add,
I don't think so. I'm excited for what else is coming this year. You know,
Superman was just announced.
Man of Tomorrow is coming out. Clayface is being filmed in Liverpool, which, you know, Love It Film is a Dublin, Ireland run page and YouTube channel. We're actually just across the river from that. I mean, if you got a flight to Liverpool, I think it's less than an hour, like, you know. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anything else is coming up. Yeah, in terms of movie news, I think we're running out of time in general, though, with the podcast. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay, well, folks, this has been our episode with James Madio. We're going to be back next week. Or actually, it could not be next week. There might be a break here and there. We will let you know, but I think it's next week. We have an actor who was in Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie that came out 2 years ago. There is a sequel coming out this December, so keep an eye on our Instagram and our socials. We will do a guest announcement in the coming days, so I'm excited for you guys to see that. But anyway, thanks again for tuning in to Love It Film. If you enjoyed this video, by all means, subscribing, liking the video, bell notifications. That's what's going to help us grow, and that's what's going to keep us making more of these videos. I know a lot of you guys like the gaming interviews too. I mean, we had a lot of the Red Dead 2 guys.
Trying to get, like, look, we won't say no to getting more of those guys on, but we've gone through a fair few of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who I'd love to get on is someone like Yuri Lowenthal, who played Spider-Man in the PS4 game and stuff. There's lots of other actors, Rob Wiedoff, you know, and more to come. So we're gonna keep exploring that. But anyway, folks, thanks again for tuning in to Love It Film, and we will see you next week.